What's up guys, it's Kaisan PoE here and welcome back to the tutorial. For this episode, we don't have the normal start since we haven't found any items that we could have a look at this point. What we will do instead is I will show you some of the skill gems that we found in the last couple of episodes in action. And for that, we will just go back into Act 1 into a really easy zone like the mud flats. Because most of the skills will not really do a lot of damage because they're level 1. I just want to show you guys what it looks like. The first one will be Flicker Strike, which will actually be pretty fun to watch. So it actually deals a decent amount of damage. For that, we want to collect a couple of monsters, so I can show you guys, how it really looks like. Okay, let's go. I probably have to. Oh, there's actually a cooldown. Okay, so apparently to make the skill really disturbing and really strange, you have to do some stuff to reduce the cooldown. So you can, it's a movement skill, so you can quickly get from A to B, and you can imagine that if your attack speed is really high, and you can get this cooldown of half a second right now, you can get that down. I have a really slow weapon as well. This is 1.23. You can get weapons with speed over 2 attacks per second. And once you have that, yeah, it will look ridiculous. Okay, the next one that I wanted to show you is Molten Strike. That's the one with the molten, the balls of molten lava or molten magma. And you can see that this is a projectile as well as a normal melee attack. So stuff like LMP and slow projectiles works on it. So if we just look at the attack right here, you can see there's just 3 balls being hurled towards the target, and if we get a target, and you can see that it hits them right in front of us, but if they are a bit, the AoE is not that great. So here, I don't really hit anything. They have to get closer. So now I can link it with LMP, and you have seen right now it's 3 balls. If I link it with LMP, we will have 5, so you can increase the AoE. And another point is that if I use slower projectiles, you can see that they fall quite a bit slower. The same goes for if I get rid of Molten Strike and slower projectiles for now, and just show you Spectral Throw as it is. I have to get rid of LMP. Okay, so this is the normal speed, and I can link this up to slower projectiles, and you can see that it is quite a bit slower. So that means it stays out longer and it can deal more damage to enemies while it's out there. Alright, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show you guys. And I'll continue to do so with, in time as we find more and more active gems and support gems. I'm just going to show you some combinations of them to make you understand how exactly the mechanics work around all those skills. And now I'm just going to do some dailies, which you guys will probably not see much of, because you have seen most of it already, and then we'll go ahead and continue in Act 3. Okay, I did my dailies. There was nothing new there, but I had a level up, so we have an additional point to put right here, because now we got Trickery up here, we are all the way to Face Acrobatics here, and what, and I put some points in Strength and Intelligence just to be a bit more flexible in terms of gear. And now we're making our way down here to Onder's Guile, which will be really important as well, because it doubles our chance to evade any kind of projectile. So that's the way down here, and on our way we'll pick up the life nodes here and herbalism. So we'll start with the dexterity node right here. I actually found out that because I was planning on trying the level 4 Katarina mission, but I am not allowed to do that. I can't do it because there's a requirement apparently above level 4 or from level 4 onwards. You have to have beaten normal difficulty. You have to be in cruel difficulty already. So before we finish Act 3, we cannot increase our reputation any more than this. But I did the Torah mission, and she's level 4 now as well. So I basically, at this point in time, I maxed out all my masters. And she has some new items on here. Her the mod that she has on items is causes bleeding on hit. You can easily see what that does. It's it basically has puncture on the item already. I don't really see it as being particularly interesting. And in terms of new gems, there's nothing that we haven't seen before. We already have slower projectiles. We've seen lightning arrow before, and poison arrow as well. Poison arrow has 9% quality, which is already borderline. So I did check the prices on PoE.trade to see if this might be interesting to buy. But there's enough 10%, 9% quality ones already on there that are sold for an Orb of Alchemy or an Orb of Fusing, so the same price as I would have to pay to get it here. So it's not really worthwhile to get it. Okay, so now we can go back to Act 3, and we did stop in the marketplace, so we're going back there. Now, towards the end of the last episode, I told you guys that we will go into the catacombs and see what's in there. But there's one thing before that that I want to do, because if you go on the world screen, you can see that we have not finished Victario's secrets. We have to find the last bust in the market sewers, and we are in the marketplace right now. So we basically have to find an open area here. Again, watch out for the puncture. A somewhat open area where we have, oh, another quicksilver flask. That's nice. We can try to roll that. So basically, should be somewhere around here, or maybe going down here. No, so this is the southern border. Here we go. So it again is a red dot on the map, and once you find it, you can go in. It's the same layout as the other two sewers that we've seen before. I have not found the last bust yet, but we found two other things. We found a new type of shrine that we haven't seen, called Acceleration Shrine, and this one gives you increased movement speed and also increased projectile speed. It's really fun to run around with these. I can actually, once I rolled this, I can show you. And this strongbox that is right beside it is an artisan, which we haven't seen. I think the only ones we've seen so far was a normal strongbox and a blacksmith. And blacksmith was armor pieces. And in the episode where we saw the blacksmith, I thought of another type of strongbox, so I explained it. I explained it wrong the first time because I was thinking about this one here. Artisan strongbox has items in it that affect quality. What that means, translated, is armor scraps, blacksmith whetstones, glass blowers, baubles, and some other things that we have not found yet. So what I did, I went back to town. For an artisan, at the minimum, you should, if it's a white one, you should not leave it white. You should use a transmute on it and see what you get. Summon skeletons is a suffix. So as I already explained, on a strongbox you will always get one one mod that is good for you, you know, increased amount of items or increased quality of items, quantity, something like that. And then you get another one which is dangerous. In this case, summon skeletons. I don't really see it as really dangerous, but it is the bad mod. Let's call it the dangerous mod. So if you use an augmentation on this, you can still get the good one. So that's why I will definitely use one. And you will see that the quantity here is increased. I would say this is not a really good roll, just because, first of all, the percentage increased quantity is quite low. And also, if we, let's say there's 3 or 4 items in here, 56% increased quantity, I don't know, it doesn't really make that huge of a difference. I'm not 100% sure if it's really worth it, but I will actually use an alteration here. That didn't really do much. I'm not gonna invest more currency on it, so I guess we're out of luck here. I'm just gonna open it like this, but before I do, I'll use the shrine so I can get away really quickly. So if you use the shrine, you can see that my movement speed is greatly increased, so I can just open and run away. And now we can just kill everything here. Okay, oh, this guy is dangerous right now. Okay, let's just, everything just leveled. That's good. Spectral throw, fire trap, sure. Why not? One of them has a lot of charges, so I have to be careful that that guy does not explode in my face. Okay, here we go. I think we're somewhat safe now. Yep. That should be all of them. Here we have 4 linked boots, which... oh no, this one is the one with a lot of charges. Okay. So you get an achievement for it, and you can see that, you know, there's a bunch of stuff in here, even though the roll was not that great. Most of it is armorers, scraps, and blacksmith whetstones, but we found 1 bauble as well. So it makes sense to at least use a transmutation on these. Sometimes you get, you know, additional items, which is really good, or maybe you get something like a rogue exile on it, and that guarantees you that you get some armor drops on top of it as well. So it's definitely worthwhile. We found the room with the last bust in it. You can already see it from the shape of the room. It's the quadratic room with these, you know, quadratic side pieces as well. And I had one, oh, here we go. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. There is a guy in here. This might actually be really dangerous, because it seems like the guys that he goes through explode in your face. So we'll see if we can do this. Yep, okay, we got him. Oh, the martyr. Because yeah, you can see if they go low on health, they just explode on us. So this seems to be a pretty dangerous one. But we managed. That's good. And a belt. That might be interesting. I want to identify that right away. Some energy shield. No, I want to keep the physical damage. It's a decent amount of life on it, but it's not good enough to exchange it in my mind. So I'm just gonna have a look here, and in the middle of the room again you have the stash with the last bust. And at this point you can basically just exit to character selection and log in right away, and you'll be back in town, and you can give the last of the bust to what's his face, to one of the vendors who gave you the quest. You'll see the exclamation mark on top of his head. Here we are, back in town. Hargan. Okay, that's his name. And he will give you a book of skill, so you will get a skill point from collecting these busts. And Actually, you get 2 respec points as well. So that was a really good deal. We have 6 refund points at this point, and we have another point that we can allocate, which goes right here. And now we can go back to the marketplace and have a look at the side area right here. Actually, before we go back, there's a few things that I want to look at. Since we found the Glassblower's Bauble, we can use this one on the Jade Flask. So we have this up to 15% quality now. We need only one more, and then we can start rolling our Jade Flask. We found a Quicksilver, so I usually don't really bauble these up, because I will, whenever I find one, I'm just going to use a transmutation on it and see if I get something decent. In this case, the stun recover is pretty useless. The recharge, one charge when you deal a critical strike is good, but only in combination with something else. So what I usually do once I use the transmutation on these Quicksilvers is I save them up until I have do we have another one here? Yes. Okay. So I basically save them up until I have 5 of them, and then I can use a recipe. If you have 5 magic Quicksilvers and you sell them to the vendor, you get 1 new unidentified Quicksilver. So you can, it's some sort of recycling method. But in this case, if it has a recharge on it, you can sell them straight away because you will get an alchemy shard, which I think is worth more than the recycling. So every time I have the recharge, 1 charge when you deal a critical strike, or there's also one with, I think, recharge 3 charges when somebody hits you with a critical strike. That's another variant of it, and you will get the alchemy shard from it, which is pretty valuable. So that's basically the same as 1 alchemy is the same as 8 alterations, which I don't have here right now. So it's 8 alteration shards in comparison. And this one is the last one that I wanted to show you. When I did the daily, I found this, which has a really nice life value. You can see that it requires level 38, so I can't use it at this point, but it has a nice life roll on it. It's already a 3-link, so I will definitely use an augment on it and see what I get. Yeah, 2 life regen is not good enough. I was hoping for a good resistance roll, or yeah, that's basically it. I'm usually looking for high life roll and high resistance roll on my gear, so this is not good enough. We're just gonna sell it. Okay, so let's get back to the marketplace. So we're back in the marketplace, and this is the entrance to the catacombs, which we will explore next. I already set a foot into the catacombs, and there's a surprise in there for us. Hello! It's the first rogue exile that we encountered in this tutorial. Ooh. And you can see that they look exactly like your character, because they are exiles as well, so they're basically the same as you, just AI. And they have, like all the monsters in Rayclast, they use a certain skill set. So you can see this this charge is called shield charge, and she basically does it when you're you know, a certain amount away. Just it's to bridge the gap and also to deal damage if it actually hits you. It deals physical damage and is quite dangerous if you have low armor. From what I've seen, it is she has faster attacks and added fire linked to the shield charge, so that further increases the damage. And then the second one that she has, if she comes in melee range, you can see the Viper Strike right here. So I take chaos damage over time if she hits me. She might be able to apply multiple stacks as well, so if you get too many stacks on, at one time on your character, there will be a lot of degen. Since we're in normal difficulty, she does not use a curse at this point. If you encounter her, Thina Moga is her name, if you encounter her in higher difficulties, she will use the vulnerability curse as well, which is perfect for her skill set because it increases the amount of damage that you take from physical attacks, which is her shield slam, and also from degen. So all of her attacks will deal quite a bit more damage. Right now, she's not really dealing too much damage to me, which means I can easily handle her. So we're just gonna take her down. And the beauty about Rogue Exiles is that if you kill them, they will drop loot for every single slot, which means you will get a certain amount of loot for chest pieces, for boots, and there's a higher chance for rare items to drop. So if you can kill them, it's always a good idea because you will always get some rings and some amulets and belts. There should be a belt here somewhere, rustic sash. So it's really good to gear up to kill them whenever you encounter them. Some of them are really dangerous, so you have to be careful. But overall, it's a good idea. So this was the first one, and I'm sure we'll encounter lots more. So next we'll have a look at the catacombs. We found two potential upgrades from the Exile. The first one is this chest piece. It has life on it, a cold resist, and chaos resistance. That's the first item where we see chaos resistance on. And chaos resist is especially important in Act 3, so it's definitely very interesting for us right now because we don't have any chaos resist at all. We have 0%. And there's a 3-link on this item as well, so that makes it, in my mind, quite a bit better. Well, quite a bit is maybe too much, but it makes it slightly better than the one that we have right now. You can see the implicit energy shield is roughly the same. We will lose some mana and 10 fire resist, but we will gain the chaos resistance, and we will also gain quite a bit of evasion rating, and the additional sockets. So I think it's worthwhile to change our chest. Looks pretty cool, I think. Here we go. Now we still want to level anger. Sorry, this is wrath. We still want to level it. What do we have on here? We do not need to level any of these actually, so we can get rid of Ice Nova and put it here. And because we have a 3-link here, we can go to our stash. We still have added cold damage here. And what we can do now, we can, instead of using added fire, we can go for added cold, LMP, spectral throw on the chest. And that frees up the boots, which were not that great to start with. So we can, we still had these boots in our inventory, so we can use those with higher life, some life regen, and fire resist on them, which is quite a bit better. So we're going to exchange that, and if we look at our defenses now, our cold resist is still somewhat iffy, but the rest is, they're starting to look decent. So we can just... Oh, and there was another item. Also from the Exile, we had this gold amulet drop, so there's already rarity as an implicit, and it's a pretty good life roll, so we'll definitely see if we can get a good augment. Accuracy rating, it's not the worst, but we don't necessarily need additional damage. I was again hoping for a resistance roll, so we're not going to use that. We will keep the... yeah, I think we will keep the one that we have right now with it's lower life, but we have life leech, which is pretty important. So we'll keep that one. Okay, catacombs next. In the catacombs, we have a new type of monster, which they have a regular melee attack, but also a freezing pulse attack. I'm trying to actually get them to do the freeze. Oh, here we go. So the freeze pulse is... I'm not even sure what the other attack is exactly, the one that we just saw. The freeze pulse has a chance to freeze you, obviously, and it works in a way that the closer they are to you, same goes for you, the closer you are to enemies if you use it yourself, the higher the chance that you, the higher the damage actually, and the higher also the chance that you freeze. So apart from that, there's mostly skeletons and also some necromancers in here. Nothing that we haven't seen before, you can see it right here. Different damage types. There's a lot of cold damage actually in here. These ink spinners. Normal melee attacks. So with my 19% cold resistance, it's not really the best area for me to be in right now, especially because these death bishops, so the necromancers, cast an aura that is called frostbite and further decreases my cold resistance. So it's somewhat dangerous in here for me right now. But if you have a halfway decent cold resistance, you shouldn't have a problem in here at all. So you can see I'm almost interesting. I will just follow one, just stay on one side of the map, just to make sure that I don't miss out on anything and have to travel back, and you don't want to miss something like this. So this is another master. We haven't seen him before. The first time you will encounter him is in Act 3. Okay. We get anger and belly weakness. Nice. Lorici is the master assassin, and his missions are mainly based around assassinating a certain target or assassinating guards but keeping the target alive. Yeah. Something like that. So you keep the target on low life for 10 seconds, keep it alive. And the targets will always be somewhere on the map, and they will be rogue exiles. I think it's random which rogue exile you get. And so some of the missions, depending on the exile that you encounter, can be really dangerous. I'll get back to you guys when I found the exile. Alright, here we are again. I didn't have to search long. Once you get close to the target, you see this red sign on the map. The red target, basically. And that's where the exile is. And the exile is not cast when stunned. Okay. I don't think we've seen that before. Just really quickly about this one. So basically this is a support gem that whenever your character gets stunned, you will cast a certain skill that is linked to this support gem. So for example, you could have Ice Nova linked with cast when stunned, and every time your character gets stunned, automatically an Ice Nova will be cast. So there's definitely some sometimes it makes a lot of sense to use this, and there's some builds that make good use of it. And Frostbite is the curse that we just saw on most of the necromancers around here. It decreases your cold resistance, and it also increases the chance to be frozen. So we'll pick that up as well. Now, with the target, there's usually a couple of guards. So this is one guard, elite mercenary. The like what type of monster the guards are usually varies a bit, but they're some sort of humanoid usually. Okay, here we have the target. So this is another rogue exile, and this one, Eon Grafer. He uses Cold Snap. That's this hand that comes up. It's just it's a regular Cold Snap, just with a different visual effect. So you can see that basically all of these rogue exiles use certain visual effects that you can buy for real money. They usually have a pet with them that follows them around. This one has a head effect as well, so some sort of a crown. Looks really cool, and the footsteps as well, and something for the weapon. So a couple of these visual effects are on all of the exiles. So apart from his Cold Snap, what he does, if he comes close, he has a melee attack that is called Glacial Hammer, that has a chance to freeze you basically. And he also has I think it's a Vol Frost Wall, that if he's... Oh, whoops, I'm not supposed to kill him. Okay, I have to be careful. I almost killed him. Yeah, I think this is a Vol skill that he just uses once, and he has a Vol Frost Wall as well that he sometimes uses, where the wall will surround you and him, so you can't really get away from him, which in most cases is not really dangerous because you should be easily able to deal with him. So now we had to wait the 10 seconds and have him on low life, and that was the mission, so we succeeded.
Even the finest thread cannot.
And Worichi, because this level or this zone is already high level, he directly went to level 2, which is great because now we can invite him to our hideout and we can try to level him up even further. Okay, I'll just try to get to the end of the zone, and yeah, you've pretty much seen all there is to see about the zone. I'm just going to show you the end. The end of the zone was actually right where the target for the Worichi mission was, right here. So this is the end of the zone, where you usually have a blue pack, and back in the day it used to be the case, you usually have a necro as well. Back in the day it used to be the case that a big chest was in here. So when that was still the case, people would run this area because they had 100% chance to get, we have some spinners spawning, 100% chance to get that chest in the end, which meant additional loot. So it was quite profitable to run this zone. Since they took these chests out of the game, it's not really, it doesn't really make much sense to run this zone anymore. Same as the Dread Thicket that we had a look at in Act 2. I hope, you know, GGG will realize that they're kind of dead zones right now and maybe do something about them. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to do something, because otherwise nobody will run them. So it used to be that over here you had the chest, but that's not the case anymore. So this is the end. You've seen something similar to this before when we ran the what's it called? The crypt in Act 2. You had the side quests, and the layout was pretty much the same. Also with the spinners, the spiders, you know, coming up on the sides, and the blue pack. So that's the entirety of the zone, and we'll go back to the marketplace now. Back in the marketplace, from the waypoint on, if you want to find the entrance to the next zone, it is either going down here. By the way, this is a new instance of the zone, so there will be new monsters. So it's either down here. This actually doesn't... it might still be here. Yeah, it's right here. So at some point you see this this rift in the wall basically here, and that's where you get your entrance to the battlefront. So it can be down from the waypoint, or to the other side. You just follow the wall, and on one side, you know, down here, if you hit, there's some water. If you hit the water, it's not there. If you hit the way back to the first part of the zone, it's not on the other side either. So you just have to go into one direction and see if you find it. Otherwise, just backtrack and go to the other side, and you'll easily find the entrance. And we're going into the battlefront. In this zone, you should make sure that you have a decent amount of lightning resistance, because the majority of the damage in here will be either physical or lightning based. You don't really have to worry about cold or fire resist. Now, in terms of monsters, you have the statues again, and you have chargers. So in this case, it's they're called Blackguard Elites. These archers again use Ice Shot. We've seen them before. And the chargers, if they hit you, I have a lot of evasion, so they have a hard time hitting me right now, but they deal a fair amount of damage, physical damage, if they actually hit you. And usually with them, you also have mages, and that makes them a bit more dangerous. Oh, we found our first resistance flask, that's nice. I'll say a bit more about it once we found the waypoint. So basically, from the entrance to the area, there's usually, if you just go towards the, well, I would call it just the west, but you could say the northwest, you will soon find a staircase, and if you go up that staircase, you should be in the right area to find the waypoint. And here we go. There's always this torch right beside it as well, so we already got the waypoint, and it's roughly the same spot on the map every time. And now, to say a few words about this topaz flask, you can use this to increase your lightning resist and also your maximum lightning resist. And what that means is, if you go on defenses, I told you that the maximum resistance without any passive skills and any modifications to it is 75% for a particular type of resistance. And on the passive skill tree, you have things like, let's see if I can quickly find something. I think there's one here. Nope. But there's certain nodes where you get increased resistance for a particular type. I think up here. Fire damage. Okay, I can't find them. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you can go beyond the 75% by taking certain passives, or by using this topaz flask. So this topaz flask will basically give you 85 instead of 75 for the 3.5 seconds that it runs. So that means if you have an enemy that deals a lot of lightning damage, then this could potentially save your life. And the 50% to lightning resist, if you have low lightning resist, this might be interesting. Most of the cases, if you're in endgame, you have already all your resistances capped, so you don't really have to worry about that anymore. So you can run these flasks and use them later on, which a lot of people do. They're very useful, and obviously there's one for cold resistance and fire resistance as well, and we'll find them as we go through the game. Now, one last thing that I want to do in this episode is there's one quest item in this zone, and we will get the quest item, and we will also see the zone boss, because he's right beside the quest item, and then we'll end the episode right there. Let's kill this guy. From the waypoint, usually you just go towards the southwest. Oh, here we go. That's one of the mages that I was talking about. So these mages, use Spark, so they use a lightning-based attack, and they also from time to time cast something that is called Lightning Thorns, or is it Lightning Thorns? Yeah, Lightning Thorns on the other guys. And that's basically a reflect, so if you deal damage to somebody who has Lightning Thorns on them, you will in reverse get damage dealt to you, which is also lightning based. I think I have to go over here. So you can see the on this, in this area, if you just follow the wall, you can see that it at some point it narrows to like a smaller corridor and goes towards the, mainly to the south. Just have to get rid of all of these here. So yeah, that's it. So you wanna get here, and you already get this entire area highlighted, but it narrows down here. So when you get here and you show yourself, that's when there's quite a few these guards right around the corner, and you also get the zone boss. He should be right around here. Yeah, that's him. Captain Aurelianus. Nothing really special about him. He has double strike. He deals a bit more damage than usual, but you should be able to tank him. If you can't tank him, maybe you have some sort of a decoy totem you can use, and you should be easily able to kill him. Once you did it, the Blackguard chest is the place where you get your quest item. So make sure to click on it and pick the quest item up. And that's basically all you have to do in this area. We will not go on any further in this episode, but over here towards the northwest from this point on, there's the entrance to the next zone, but I'll talk a bit more about this in the next episode. So we're just gonna, actually I don't have to go back to town for that, just gonna do my outro right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll try to upload the next one in a couple of days. I have a bit more stuff to do on the side, so I'm not 100% sure when I can upload the next one, but if you liked the video, give it a like, and follow the channel if you want to support me, and I'll see you guys for the next episode.